It's now time for the morning show on XL7-TV.
It's time for the morning show on XL7-TV. I'm Bob Rectenwell. This is Scott Scooter.
Whoop, whoop.
Callie.
How are you this morning?
Not too bad.
We got a little wet.
A little dampness come upon us.
It did. I don't know about you, but it got a heck of a dampness at my house.
We had a small creek running through our garden last night.
It came down furious, and the wind and
Well, the wind was pretty tough.
yeah.
Walked outside and couldn't find my wife.
Uh-oh.
She was looking for me, and I was looking for her. And she said, "We have a problem." And I said, "What's that?" She said, "Our patio umbrella is on top of the house."
That's not where it goes, people.
No, that's generally not where you need the sunshade. It's usually upon your patio table. So therefore, we had to fish it down off the roof.
I've had
At least
before.
that was before the rain hit.
Before in the past, we're trampolining it up on the top of the tree.
On top of the tree.
Yeah.
That's definitely, you can't bounce well up there.
No, and it had wrapped all the way around. It was toast.
It was ugly.
Yeah, I had to get equipment in there to get it down. It happens. I mean, and like you said, last night we got some wind. There's no doubt. You could tell by some of the debris and stuff laying around and stuff.
Yeah, and it came hard and fast, and I was hoping that it would slow down a little bit and soak some and just stick around a little bit. I don't know what we ended up getting. I'll figure that out here in a minute. But, man, it came down good, and the temperature dropped really nice.
We got more coming.
That was well,
Hopefully.
Don't jinx us now.
Hopefully.
You never know.
Never know.
Let's go give thanks. Brought to you by Roller Funeral Homes, the morning prayer. With all our respect is not just their motto, it's the way they do business. Renata Jenkins Byler and her staff all across the state of Arkansas with 29 locations to serve you, one in Memphis, Tennessee. They do a great job with helping you in your time of need. And now, the morning prayer. Father God, plain and simple, thank you for the rain. We just thank you for the rain that you've given us and the rain that is coming. We just thank you for all the things that you've given us and do in our lives. Lord, we just praise you for what you do, and we just pray that you will continue to bless us as a nation and us as people. It's in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Plain and simple this morning, just thank you for the rain.
Yeah.
Roller Funeral Home of Arkansas, 29 locations serve you, one in Memphis, Tennessee. With all our respect, go see them about pre-planning. If you don't know where they're located, Mountain Home, take a ride up Highway 5 North toward Hospital Drive. Go past Hospital Drive, look to your right, look for the big American flag, and take a right, pull into their driveway, and there you go. Roller Funeral Home, with all our respect. And now we're going to get a quick word from the Z Team.
Ever been in a cave before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the car!
How will we?
The car! Your offer has been accepted. Ever bought a house before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the closing.
But how will we?
The closing!
Welcome back to the morning show on XL7-TV. Every morning we get to take a look at this rough shot.
Rough shot.
Brought to you by
it's
Bob and Linda Zadora, the Z Team, 870-405-0793. Retiredtoarkansas.net is their website. You can go there to check out any and all the MLS listings for our area. Smoke on the water this morning.
Yes, there is some fog.
What you're looking at is a shot back into Baxter County, Arkansas, the city of Cotter. Normally you can see the baseball field and the Railroad Museum and Contractor Trust, but today you can see the Rainbow Bridge at about the 9 o'clock spot. You can't see, well, you can. Yeah, you can see the Witch's Hat Water Tower about 1 o'clock. And about 11 o'clock, way, way off in the horizon, that is the state of Missouri and a little mountain out that direction. And you can tell this is a live shot because the clouds are moving slowly across there. But this is a great shot that's provided to us by Bob and Linda Zadora, the Z Team of Century 21 Realty here in Mountain Home. The number to reach them is 870-405-0793. retiredtoarkansas.net is their website. These are realtors you would recommend to your friends, and I always say they're busy but never too busy to help you. So let's take a look at the weather. Maybe, maybe not.
I'll switch over to the other camera while you're getting things set up.
I'm ready.
All right.
I like that. Let's hold that for a minute.
Okay.
That's the old Rainbow Bridge there at the City of Cottage, the old Highway 62 bridge that goes across the White River. And it is, even though that's cloudy, that's a pretty cool looking shot.
That is.
That's
You
my
can't
favorite
even
shot normally, but you can't see nothing.
You can't see the water.
Can't see the water running this morning. But we'll go ahead and take a look at the temperatures. In Mountain Home, it's 71. Harrison is 74. Batesville, 74. Yellville, 72. Marshall, 75. Salem is 72. Mountain View, 75. Calico Rock, 71. West Plains, Missouri is 72. Springfield, Missouri, 75. Poplar Bluff is 73. St. Louis, Missouri is 70. In the radar. On the wide shot, you can see things have come through the state of Arkansas. There looks like there's some more coming from Kansas and Oklahoma. Things develop up. We're going to pull back in tight over here to the state of Arkansas. Baxter County is clear at the moment, but looks like things are coming in a little bit from Rogers and Fayetteville and may dissipate before it all gets here. But look behind it, you'll see some stuff in Tulsa, Ponca City, and Bartlesville. Jonesboro's getting some rain right now. Let's come back out just a little bit here. If you're traveling up into Missouri, you may hit some showers throughout the day, but I don't think there's going to be any threat of heavy-duty weather. Do you, Scooter?
Doesn't look like it.
Looks like it may be okay. If you're traveling around, just be careful. Flood alerts through Friday. I don't believe that's got us in any of that. So north of Nashville, Lexington, Kentucky, Roanoke, Virginia, Harrisonburg. So nothing around us. With that rain last night, they have lifted the heat advisory for us, which is a good thing. It's going to be nice to have a couple of days you can actually walk outside and breathe. But all of northern Arkansas is cleared from the heat advisory. It's down in the southern portion of the state, down in southeast Oklahoma, northeast Texas, the northern part of Louisiana. Temperatures today is going to be high of 90. That's going to be a little different. 50% chance of thunderstorms. Chance of storms, then showers tonight goes from 50 to 80%. Showers tomorrow, 80%, high of 81. Low tomorrow night, 67. Chance of thunderstorms, then showers are likely. Saturday, thunderstorms, 80% chance of rain, high of 78. Can you imagine?
I'll take it.
50% chance of thunderstorms on Saturday night, low of 68. Sunday, high of 85. Likely chance of thunderstorms is about 60. And on Sunday night, 30% chance of storms, low of 70. And then Monday gets back up to 90 with a slight chance of rain. Tuesday, slight chance of rain, high near 96. And Wednesday gets back to being hot and sunny with a high near 98. Tree pollen today is low, tomorrow is none, Saturday is none. Grass is low today, none on Friday, none on Saturday. Moderate today for ragweed, none tomorrow, none Saturday. Lake levels. Lake Norfolk, 561.26, which is 9.26 above full pool, which is 552. And they are generating one generator at this time. Lake Bull Shoals, 669.37. which is 10.37 above their full pool, and they are generating 8.
They're coming down.
And it's coming down a little bit at a time, so it takes a while. That many square miles of water mass takes a while to come on down. So that's the weather and the dam and water updates for you. Brought to you by Bob and Linda Zadora, 870-405-0793, retiredtoarkansas.net. Realtors you would recommend to a friend, but never too busy. They're busy, but never too busy to give you a hand with your realty needs. We'll be back in just a moment. You're watching The Morning Show on XL7-TV.
It's a matter of taste, and at Brick Oven Pizza Company in Mountain Home, delicious taste is all you will find. Enjoy signature crafted pizzas and appetizers, as well as oven-baked sandwiches, quesadillas, salads, pastas, and desserts. When it comes time to relax or meet up with friends, Brick Oven Pizza has you covered. Handmade cocktails and ice-cold beer are always available at their fully stocked bar. No time to dine in? No problem. Call in your order and use Brick Oven's convenient drive-thru window for all your to-go orders. It's a matter of taste at Brick Oven Pizza Company in Mountain Home.
Have you ever?
Welcome back to the morning show. We've been talking, Scooter, about this A+ for education pretty regular. It's a very important millage increase for the Mountain Home Public School District. Yesterday we were talking with the folks, and I wanted to clarify who can vote in this election. And this election is open to any resident in the Mountain Home Public School District. So our school district, I looked at the map a little bit yesterday. If you're going to the west, it ends just this side of Gassville.
Okay.
Goes north pretty much all the way to the Missouri border. But it does go the other direction all the way to Fulton County and Gamaliel. As you're going toward Salem on 62 through Henderson, you hit through Fulton County on that side. Down around Norfolk, it looks like it will stop just this side of Salesville. Briarcliff is kind of mixed. It's a little bit mixed between Norfolk and Mountain Home. Down County Road 69, again, it's a little mixed down there too, but it goes south down toward Big Flat. But there is a www.bombers.edu, I think, I'm not sure. I'll have that for you tomorrow. I forgot what the website was. But anyway, there is a picture of the district map. And if you're wondering for sure if you're in the Mountain Home Public School District, look at your tax bill.
Yeah, it'll tell you on your tax bill.
It'll tell you on your tax bill. Just go there, and if you are in the Mountain Home Public School District, we ask that you vote yes for this millage increase because it is a need, not a want. The high school is in a shambles. They have done all the band-aiding that they can do, and they absolutely need the vote for this to go through.
I've walked through and seen where they're talking about. Yeah, it's very well needed.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's not a want. There are some want projects in there, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
But the overall picture is a need. It absolutely is a need. People ask, well, why don't they just build a new building? Well, first of all, you got to acquire the land to do that, and that's not feasible at this point. The real estate market is running very well, and people are getting a premium for their property, plain and simple. So anyway, if you want to check that out, some more information on that, you go to Facebook at A+, all spelled out A+, for education on Facebook. And they also have a website, which is www.aplusforeducation.com. Go check that out. They can pretty much tell you what it's going to cost you when you vote. So if you don't vote yes for this, there's no telling what it's going to cost us.
Well, they're going to have to start cutting back on things because they don't have a choice but to do something.
Yeah, the state has already told them it's a must.
Yeah.
You've got to do something. The state's got some money earmarked for the project, but the issue with the earmarked money is you have to have your financing secured for the whole project before the state will kick in anything.
Yeah.
I think there's like a $10 million grant out there for this improvement, which is a good portion of this project, but you have to have your complete project financed. They need to know how you're going to pay for the complete project before they'll release the funds that they're going to put in. So it's very important for us to help get this millage passed for the citizens of Mountain Home. You may say, well, I don't have any kids in school. Well, granted, you don't, and that's fine, but one day you're going to want to sell that house to somebody that does have kids, and they're going to want to make sure the schools are good. You think?
I agree. I completely agree. I think it is a must. We need it. We need this to pass.
It needs to happen. It just needs to happen. Roughly a $200,000 home, you're looking at about a $90 a year increase on your property tax. Cut that down into lunches out or designer coffee or stuff. Heck, you can't hardly buy a T-shirt and a pair of jeans for $90.
No.
So.
And you're talking about for a whole year.
Yeah.
So it's not much money.
No. It's something that will definitely benefit the whole community in the long run. We had some students on yesterday that, they won't even be affected by this because this will take 3 years or 4 for total completion of both phases of this. And they're saying, look, we're all for it because our classmates are going to be able to benefit from this. And I want to go to college and come back here one day and raise my family and things like that. And it's something that has to be done. Anyway, I've been on that soapbox for
No more Band-Aids.
And no more Band-Aids. Just remember, folks, it's a need, not a want. You're watching The Morning Show on XL7-TV. You'll be back in just a moment. We've got Tim Burnley here with Arkansas Game and Fish.
Have you ever noticed every time you wash your car, you end up wetter than the actual car? Next time, run down to Car Care and let the friendly staff put a smile on your face. Car Care of Mountain Home has a variety of services to clean your vehicle's needs, inside and out. From a simple wash and shine to their outstanding detailed services. Located 1525 Highway 62 East in Mountain Home. Stop by Car Care Mountain Home today, because driving a clean car always makes you feel good.
At Connor Family Funeral Home, our goal is to provide our friends and neighbors with caring, compassionate services at an affordable price. Connor Family is a full-service funeral home that offers a wide range of services to meet your family's needs and customs. We are the first on-site crematory in the area and provide many options to memorialize your loved ones and address all the details for a more personalized service. Where compassion and affordability meet, Connor Family Funeral Home in Mountain Home.
When you think about Hospice of the Ozarks, it's our desire that you think about finding a way to live your life to the fullest while living with a serious illness. If you ever need help and support, we provide a team of healthcare professionals and volunteers that will support your physical, emotional, and spiritual aspects of life while doing the same for your family and caregivers in the comfort of your own home or wherever you call home. When you think about Hospice of the Ozarks, we hope that you grant us permission to walk on the journey with you. Your not-for-profit option since 1979.
When you're out of town, make sure your pet is with someone who will love them as much as you do. At 201 Pet Salon and Resort, your pet is cared for just as they would be at home. 201 Pet Salon and Resort is the only all-suite climate-controlled and air-filtered boarding facility in the area with private and spacious rooms to keep your pet relaxed. And with over 3/4 of an acre of fenced play area, your pet will receive the proper exercise they deserve. 201 also offers professional grooming services. Your best friend is in good hands at 201 Pet Salon and Resort in Mountain Home.
Are you looking for the best barbecue in 2 states?
Holy smokes!
Want the meatiest fall-off-the-bone ribs?
Holy smokes!
The most tender and delicious pulled pork?
Holy smokes!
The tastiest brisket in the Ozarks?
Holy smokes!
Holy Smokes Barbecue and Catering is the only place you need to go. Dine in, carry out, and the best food for your next catered event.
Holy smokes!
We're your mountain home for great barbecue cooking.
Holy smokes!
A higher calling for your taste buds.
Jim Brown Company keeps you cool when it's hot and warm when it's not. A trusted name in the mountain home community, Jim Brown Company provides timely heating and cooling installation and repairs. Our certified technicians incorporate new technology on every job to provide you with the most advanced services. At our metal fabrication shop, we handle projects big and small. We've created everything from commercial ducts to custom designs.
I'd recommend Jim Brown Company to my friends and neighbors. The reason being they have high-tech equipment. Their service techs are well qualified for the job that they do, and they also send me a report after all the work is done so I know exactly what my unit's doing.
By visiting our showroom, you can learn all about our heating and cooling products. We'll educate you on your options and help you decide on the right solution. For total comfort at your home or business, choose Jim Brown Company. Quality service with a family name since 1964.
Welcome back to the morning show on XL7-TV. Our guest this morning is Tim Burnley, Arkansas Game and Fish. How are you, sir?
Doing great.
Hadn't seen you in a while.
It's been a while.
When I had you come on the first time, I wasn't able to be
Right,
here.
right.
That's kind of bad. Invite you to be somewhere and then not show up myself.
It happens.
What is it you do exactly for Game and Fish?
I am our stream habitat program supervisor, so I supervise our cold water or trout habitat program, and then our stream habitat program across the state that works on warm water streams.
How long have you been with Game and Fish?
Next month will be 27 years.
27 years. What did you start out doing with it?
So, my first job was actually part-time here in Mountain Home for Mark Oliver. I'm sure many people still
Mark,
remember
yeah.
Mark. And then I went to Brinkley, and I was the assistant district fisheries biologist down there for, I think, 8.5 years before I came back to Mountain Home.
What's your background? Where'd you go to college?
I grew up in Shreveport, Louisiana. I went to Harding and got a bachelor's in biology, and then went to Fayetteville and got my master's up there.
Wow. And when did you graduate?
Oh, let's see. From Fayetteville was 95, I think, August of 95.
Wow. And here you've been.
And here I've been. Yeah, yeah. So.
The hot weather, how does that affect what you do with Game and Fish?
You know, when we're doing projects, we just have to be really careful and try to work early and stay hydrated, and you just watch your guys a little bit more. And
how does it affect the fish?
It can affect fishing somewhat. I mean, I talked to Eli Powers, who works for me the other day, and he had been up on Bull Shoals, and he said it was hard to find water below 98 degrees until you got pretty deep down in the lake. And so, of course, the fish tend to get a little lethargic like we do when the water gets that warm. So
the Dry Run Creek by the dam?
Yes.
Does that water ever get warm?
It will get warmer, but never warm, because it's coming out of the bottom side of Norfolk Lake.
Is the water that's in the hatchery, is that fed through the lake water some way?
Yes. That water comes from the bottom side of the lake, goes through the hatchery, and then out into Dry Run.
Okay. So it kind of just loops around.
Right.
So that water in the hatchery stays at pretty consistent
Pretty
temperature.
consistent, and they can move the depth that they're pulling that water from, based on temperature and oxygen levels to get the best water that they can.
How do they do that?
So I'm not really sure. I know Trey Anderson, keeps monitors all of that, and they can raise and lower that intake within a range. I don't think they have the whole range of the dam, but within a range they can manipulate that.
Who controls what depth the lakes stay at?
Most of that is controlled by it's by federal law. It's there's a operation plan for the White River chain of lakes.
Really?
Some of it's based on the gauge at Newport. Some of it's just based on what the conservation and flood pools are set at. Flood pool stays pretty consistent. Conservation pool will fluctuate throughout the year, so you'll see them trying to get some water out. So Corps of Engineers mainly controls that, but they tend to follow that operating plan pretty close.
How does the lake level fluctuation and how much they generate, how does that affect your job and what you do with the streams?
Well, it's not been funny. It's been different the last, I would say, 3 to 4 years. When I moved here in 2004, we could get in the river and do bank stabilization or habitat projects probably 7 to 8 months a year because we had low water that often. The last 2 years, we've actually had maybe a 3 to 4 week window. 2 years ago was probably the worst one. Last year we did have a little working period through November, December. But, typically our best window for work starts after the lakes are low and then after peak power demands. Once it starts cooling off in, September, early October, until we start getting those winter or spring rains.
What are your projects that you normally deal with annually? What kind of things do you have to do in your job?
We work with a lot of landowners to help them locate contractors and materials, and we help them with permits to do bank stabilization jobs. We also try to educate in that process, so that people don't come in and clear all the vegetation off their bank, because inevitably if they do, then they're going to be needing some help for bank stabilization.
I'm losing my hay field. Well, how
Right,
come? Well, because you
right.
took all the trees out.
Exactly. We also do some, in-stream habitat work. The stuff between the bridges at Cotter is an example of that. We've done several projects on Dry Run Creek. We just completed one there, what we call Colonel's Corner on the North Fork. We did a project there last summer. We've also started doing our access areas also start eroding. We just get a lot of foot traffic and people fishing on the bank, and then they're fishing on mud and trying to stand there. So we kind of combine bank stabilization, but also providing bank angler access for people to sit there and fish without having to do it on the ramp, which starts impeding boat traffic. So those projects kind of solve 2 or 3 different issues for us, so they're good.
Well, I'm not sure where I want to go here. Those bank stabilizations, the people that live on the river, like down Riverview Drive in Norfolk, where does their property line end?
It ends at what is called the ordinary high water mark. That's the incipient, well, I'll use a big term, incipient point of flooding. But since we're below dams, we don't have that natural connection to the floodplain that we used to. So, for example, from Bull Shoals Dam to Cotter, that's determined to be like the 6th generator level. So basically anything below the 6 generators they can't touch. Anything 6 generators and above they can touch without having to have a permit.
So what does that mean? The level of the water, how high it is after 6?
Yeah,
On?
when they're running 6 units.
Okay. And anything below that, you say is, who owns that thing? Corps of Engineers?
The Corps of Engineers, okay, you're going to get technical on me here.
Well,
I got to think about this. Yes, the water is controlled by the Corps of Engineers. The land is actually owned by the state of Arkansas.
Okay.
And the State Land Commission has the regulatory authority over that.
Okay, so when you go do bank projects, is where I was kind of headed with this. When you go do bank projects, do you do them to the 6th generation level, or do you do them to the normal level?
Normally, we shoot for probably the 8 generator level, so we have a little extra protection, but from the bottom of the river up to that 8 generator level.
Okay.
So that requires that you get a permit from the Corps of Engineers. It's called a 404 permit. That's section 404 of the Water Resources Development Act, I believe, establishes that. There's also a permit from the Arkansas Department of Environmental Quality. It's called a short-term activity authorization. So those are the 2 permits that we help people with. And we try to help them with funding options too. There's a good program called a riparian tax credit through the Natural Resource Division of the Department of Ag. So that's typically the best financial help.
I guess my reasoning for asking the question about the property ownership to what point, we got a lot of new people moving into our area. And of course, those river houses and something that you can walk all the way down to the water, those are hot commodity. And we sure just don't want somebody coming in there with pylons and start driving pylons in on a piece of property that they really shouldn't be doing that.
Right. And I mean, I've worked hard and have started seeing some results here lately, but even if you're looking at property on the river, get a hold of me, and either me or one of the guys will come out and look at it, and we can give you the do's and the don'ts. I mean, one of the big don'ts is don't clear all your vegetation. And there are some grasses and shrubs where you don't have to have trees and block your view, but things that have good root systems and can help hold that
sandy soil.
Hold that soil, because there's just not a lot of consistency to that soil when you don't have roots in it, and it'll start going away pretty quick.
30 minutes after the hour, Tim Burnley from Arkansas Game and Fish is our guest. You're watching The Morning Show on XL7-TV. We'll be back in just a moment.
Diatley Dental Care is a family-owned dental practice. Doctors Irvin and Christina Diatley grew up in the Twin Lakes area and are proud to serve the community. With modern treatment methods and state-of-the-art technology, they are dedicated to providing exemplary care to patients of all ages. Our compassionate team consistently receives training above and beyond the standard of care.
We're changing the way you see dentistry.
Come be a part of our dental family.
Overhead Door, a garage door company that has been with your family from the beginning, through all the ups and downs of life. From the small repairs to making your vision a reality. Overhead Door, your trusted garage door expert since 1921. Be sure you're getting the genuine, the original overhead door service.
Call Overhead Door Company of North Arkansas today in Mountain Home.
At Serendipity Bliss, we love turning your day into a once-in-a-lifetime memory by offering unique, beautiful, and specialized event and wedding rentals that can transform any atmosphere into something you will never forget. Whether it's your dream wedding, a golden anniversary, sweet 16 party, or a company event, we can make any event blissfully perfect. Serendipity Bliss carries unique specialty gifts and bridal jewelry and helps coordinate decor, table items, theme-related pieces, and more. Make your day blissfully perfect with Serendipity Bliss, located behind Car Care Mountain Home.
Scrap Daddy's Metals is a full-service scrap recycling center accepting your scrap metals for recycling, paying you top dollar for all of your recyclable metals. They even buy cars and catalytic converters. Give them a call today at 870-424-6120 or visit them at 2821 Highway 5 North in Mountain Home. At Letty's Mexican.
Welcome back to the morning show on XL7-TV. Tim Burnley from Arkansas Game and Fish. We're talking about habitats, stream habitats. You don't do anything with the lake side of it?
We don't work on the lake side. Now, we've helped because we have a lot of heavy equipment and the ability to do so. We've helped with some of the large-scale habitat projects on our reservoirs with just by hauling blocks and trees and stuff around. Like so.
What is a man-made habitat in the river?
What is a man-made habitat? Usually we try to kind of match the hatch, to use a fly fishing term. You know, we try to put boulders and logs. We do some different things with them. We will use steel cable and drive duckbill anchors to anchor them to the river bottom. We'll use a drill and drill through both of them and drive rebar and, you know, try to build, try to put rocks on top of the flat rocks on tops of the log so it holds them down and they don't just float off. We've also built what we call lunker bunkers. Having a hard time with that word this morning. They're basically just rock tabletops. We'll take a big flat rock and then put 3 or 4 little short rocks for legs on it, and then drill through both of those and basically glue a piece of rebar in there to hold them together and set those out to give the trout a little overhead cover.
How many different species of trout do we have?
Oh goodness, we've got the main 4. We've got the brook trout, the cutthroat, the rainbows, and the browns. We've also had a couple of different species of cutthroats here lately. One that the local groups introduced through egg boxes, and then the Federal Hatchery had a different strain of cutthroats here lately. And then there's some things like the golden trout, but they're not really a species. They're a genetic offspring of a rainbow trout. But people really seem to, enjoy those different things being out there.
It's amazing the number of people that use our rivers annually. Is there any way to track that?
Yeah, we have numbers. In fact, our cold water habitat budget is funded by $3 from every non-resident trout permit that is sold. So I get an annual update of how many. We've ranged anywhere from, I'm trying to think, probably 45,000 non-resident trout permits to this year is a little over 60,000.
60,000 trout permits.
And that's
Wow.
that's just non-residents. So, and I think that's about 40% of the total.
Wow.
But yeah, we actually went from, there's a little delay in the process, but we actually went from, my last budget was our lowest budget ever, so the fewest sold, and that was just before COVID hit, to our highest budget is this year, so the most non-resident trout permits ever sold. And that was kind of that residual effect of COVID, and people needed something to do where they felt safe and outside and away from people, and fishing seemed to benefit from that greatly.
Well, the river's a big spot, so you get lots of social distancing there.
Yeah, it's great.
Any big projects you got going on right now?
We've got several permits approved and in the works. We're kind of waiting on water levels to go down this winter. We did just do a project over at the snow access on Crooked Creek. We did some dry run creek work earlier this year, and we've got a project down in the park at Calico Rock that we do. We try to pivot to some of the tributaries while the tailwaters are high, so that we can, keep things moving. Been involved with some kids camps this summer. Those are always fun. There's one ongoing down on the Little Red River on Collins Creek this week. We wrapped up one last week on Dry Run Creek, so it was a good time. We had 15 kids from most of them from the local area. We had some kids from like Lone Oak and Benton that came up, and we had a 2.5 day class, with the last half day being actual fishing on the creek. Of course, we're blessed up here with a large volunteer network. So we had the North Central Arkansas Master Naturalist came out and taught some macroinvertebrate identification.
That's a good word for you, Scooter.
Bugs, water bugs, trout diet.
That's a lot easier to say. Water bugs.
Then we had Friends of the North Fork and White Rivers, North Arkansas Fly Fishers, and of course the White River chapter of Trout Unlimited. Those groups provided lunch. They came out and they helped with knot tying and fly casting practice. We had some independent guides that Matt Milner put together that came out and helped with those events as well. And then people showed back up Friday morning, and we paired the kids with an adult and let them fish the creek that morning. So it was a good event.
Do you only deal with the three rivers here and the waters that go into those, or do you deal with pretty much the whole state?
Yeah, our cold water habitat program deals with all of our trout waters in the state. So basically from northwest Arkansas over to the Spring River, then we go down to the Little Red, and then our southernmost year-round trout fishery is down around Murfreesboro on the Little Missouri River. So it's different. It's not as productive, but we still have a pretty dedicated group that likes to come up, especially from Louisiana and Texas, and fish that resource.
The sow bug roundup that they do, I guess it's an annual thing. Though that number of people that come, does that affect what you do, and does that have a big impact on our rivers?
I think it does, just from an education and a publicity standpoint. It introduces a lot of people in the trout fishing world to what we actually have going on here in Arkansas. Sometimes your purist fly fishermen, they don't really like the tailwater artificially created. But then I think they get over here and they see what we have going on and what we do with it. We actually got to host a national TU meeting a couple of years ago over in northwest Arkansas, which is the first time that TU on the national level has held their meeting in a tailwater fishery state. So I think the word's out about how good our fishing can be, and people tend to enjoy it, man. And you get down on that water when it's 103 degrees and
feels pretty good.
Feel that breeze coming off of it, and it's a nice place to be.
Mowed a place down in the river normally would take me 30 minutes to do. It took me a whole hour and 10 minutes one day because it was just so much. I just kind of going along. So much cooler down there.
Yep.
You know, we were talking just a moment ago about the erosion and how to fight that. And the property owners, where they have control of and what they don't have control of. If we have a new resident here in Baxter County or in our viewing area that thinks they have an erosion problem, who can they get a hold of?
They should call me, call the Mountain Home office, and ask to speak to either me or Eli Powers, and we'll come out and do a site visit and tell them the best, their best course. Sometimes it's just as simple as planting some trees. Then sometimes you have to do the larger stabilization projects with the rock, and so typically we can kind of direct them the appropriate way.
Who controls the private docks on the river?
That's another very good question that actually after 18 years I really don't have a good answer to. Some of that falls on the State Land Commission. Some of it has to be permitted through the Corps of Engineers. And all of our tailwaters are different, so that further confuses things. The White River is a navigable stream, so it has slightly different regulations than like the Little Red or Norfolk or a smaller river that isn't considered navigable, and the landowners actually pay taxes to the center line of the river. So water law can get very, very complex very quickly.
But either way, you can't just throw a dock on your river lake or your liver lot.
No, you should contact the Corps and at least ask if a permit is required to, put that out there.
Yeah. The fluctuation of the river level, I don't know if I'd want a boat dock on the river.
Yeah, it'd be rough.
I see so many. I see so many that have basically been abandoned. There's no boats in them. People don't use them. And I mean, one of my biggest recommendations would be to contact some people on the river that have them and ask them.
Though you think it's a good idea, and you think it would be nice to be able to walk out your back door and go down the river and get in your boat, boy, it's a lot of hassle.
Right. So I would talk to my neighbors and just see what their experience has been, and use that to make my decision.
May sell you theirs because they don't mess with theirs anymore.
Right, exactly.
The habitats that you guys deal with, once they're set, they're there, or do you have to go back and do maintenance on them? Or?
We have learned a lot over the years. We used to put, quite a few things in and then come back and they'd either be gone or the gravel would swallow them up. So we've learned when and where over time we can put what type of structure that will stay. I think we've gotten a lot better at that. Of course, some of these rains that we get now, when you get a 500-year event,
2 years in a row.
2 years in a row, all bets are off.
Yeah.
But we've definitely learned from trials and tribulations on the river. So seem to think we're better at it than we were 18 years ago.
How big is your group that you work with as far as habitat stuff goes?
I've got Eli here as our cold water coordinator, and then we've got a full-time truck driver equipment operator and then a part-time truck driver equipment operator that does the work up here. On the warm water side, I've got 4 guys, one in Russellville, one in Hope, one in Searcy, and one in Salem that handle the warm water stuff.
What's the difference between warm water and cold water?
Just the species of fish that you're dealing with. Okay. A lot of the techniques are the same. You probably don't have the intense development along a lot of our warm water streams. Okay. So whereas we're typically looking at a landowner that has 100 to 300 foot of property, they'll be doing projects on, say, the Caddo River for a landowner that might have 1,000 foot of property. And a lot of times it's not necessarily the house, it's the pasture it's the cows accessing the river.
Mm-hmm.
But still, a lot of the techniques stay the same.
We're going to come back to that when we come back after this break. Tim Burnley, Arkansas Game and Fish. You're watching The Morning Show on XL7-TV. We'll be right back.
At Letty's Mexican Restaurant, we are here to keep you safe during these difficult times, as well as serve you the best Mexican food in the area. That's why we've installed a convenient pickup window for all your to-go and pickup orders, as well as a covered outdoor seating area. Give us a call at 870-435-2532 to order your next meal. And don't forget, Letty's also provides catering for small parties or big events. Experience the best in Mexican cuisine. Letty's in Gassville. Close to Lake Norfolk and a short journey to Jordan County Line Liquor is your destination for all your refreshment needs. They offer the widest variety of all your wines, beers, and liquors with the cleanest atmosphere and the largest selection in the area. Not sure what to get? Ask Jordan County Line Liquor's friendly and knowledgeable staff for an expert recommendation you can't go wrong with. Also, don't forget about the Smoker's Den for all your smoking and accessory needs. That's Jordan County Line Liquor, close to Lake Norfolk, located on Highway 177 in Jordan, Arkansas.
Ever been in a cave before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the car! How will we? The car! Your offer's been accepted. Ever bought a house before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the closing. But how will we? The closing!
It's a matter of taste, and at Brick Oven Pizza Company in Mountain Home, delicious taste is all you will find. Enjoy signature crafted pizzas and appetizers, as well as oven-baked sandwiches, quesadillas, salads, pastas, and desserts. When it comes time to relax or meet up with friends, Brick Oven Pizza has you covered. Handmade cocktails and ice-cold beer are always available at their fully stocked bar. No time to dine in? No problem. Call in your order and use Brick Oven's convenient drive-thru window for all your to-go orders. It's a matter of taste at Brick Oven Pizza Company in Mountain Home.
Have you ever noticed every time you wash your car, you end up wetter than the actual car? Next time, run down to Car Care and let the friendly staff put a smile on your face. Car Care of Mountain Home has a variety of services to clean your vehicle's needs, inside and out. From a simple wash and shine to their outstanding detail services. Located 1525 Highway 62 East in Mountain Home. Stop by Car Care in Mountain Home today, because driving a clean car always makes you feel good.
Welcome back to the morning show on XL7-TV. Tim Burnley from Arkansas Game and Fish. You mentioned two things a little bit earlier, and I want to bring them back up. One was gravel. Who has the rights to pull gravel out of the river? Does the homeowner have the right?
I think
to
I want to go back to when you weren't here, Bob. I got a lot easier questions last time. Again, that is a very complicated subject. Arkansas state law does allow landowners to access some gravel to like build roads and keep their roads up on their property. Again, I think anytime you're going to get down below that 6 or 8 generator mark and get in the river, it would be best to contact us or the Corps of Engineers or ADEQ to ask that question, because it varies so much on individual situations. And there's people that have taken gravel out for years and they're like, well, it just fills back in, so I'm not really hurting anything. But that gravel that's filling back in is coming from somebody upstream. So it does kind of change the dynamics of the river, especially when you get into moving a large quantity, taking a large quantity of gravel out. So just holler at us or the Corps of Engineers office, and we can evaluate that on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, my whole point is, with all the new people that we got moving in here, and some of the old ones may not know. They see somebody 3 or 4 houses upriver pulling sand and gravel out to do flower beds or whatever they're doing, and then that's probably okay. But then you get down a quarter mile down the river, it may not be okay.
Right. And we've got a
one thing we have to protect is our resources.
Right.
And if we don't educate folks and let them know that it may or may not be okay for you to do this. We may be damaging something, maybe not tomorrow, but 5 years from now.
And I'll call it an industry. It's too big of an industry to, to take a chance with. We've got a little brochure called Protecting Your Investment that talks about how you should do's and don'ts on your riparian area that we try to get in the hands of local realtors and developers and get to people. A lot of times it's too late. They come in and of course they see what their neighbor did or the person across the river, and there's certain things you can do on the inside of a bend versus what you can do on the outside of a bend. And you see that if you float Crooked Creek, you know that the water acts completely different on those big outside bends, and you see a lot of erosion there. And on the inside bends, you tend to be building gravel and what we call point bars. So just because they did it doesn't mean it's a good idea for you to do it. So
it's a shame that we can't get some of those reports and pamphlets and brochures that you have into the hands of anybody that buys something on the water, whether it be lake or river.
Right.
Here's what the basic rules are. Here's what you can do. And here's a list of people you need to contact if you decide you want to try to do something.
And we've worked toward that with some of our local private partners. I don't ever think you do enough to get the word out, because some people just don't know. Some people are buying property and they've never really been there. They haven't been in the area to get those resources. So it gets a little more difficult when you're dealing with people that are coming in from out of state, and you could probably do things on their rivers that aren't really good to do here.
Here's a question for you. It may not be very easy. It may not be your bailiwick. Why is the bamboo so popular down on the river? Why does that grow so quickly and so well?
Well, a lot of people call it bamboo, but there's a distinction. You have the Oriental bamboo, which is the bigger cane, and that is an invasive. I would not recommend planting that or transplanting that to your riverbank. The root structure is not really that good. But then we have a native cane that grows along the rivers. It tends to like that moisture and tends to grow quick. It has good root structure and can help hold your bank.
I mow a place down on Riverview Drive all the way down at the end, and I can mow that bamboo down to 3 inches, and in 2 weeks it'll be 3 feet.
Actually, it likes to be mowed.
There we go. We've mowed it.
We've worked on transplanting it and struggled and kept trying different things, and we finally figured out the best way to transplant it was to mow it. And then we use our skid steer and take what we call the sod mat out. Then we can move a big piece of it and set it on the riverbank somewhere new, and it tends to grow a whole lot better than if you try to move that entire stalk, because it's trying to feed that entire stalk instead of that short stuff. So
is it good for erosion?
It is good for erosion. And it's pretty hardy. It tends to stay. I think we've had one event on the North Fork. Whenever it does reproduce, if you happen to get a flood, it can wash the seeds away and struggle for a few years, and that happened a few years ago on the North Fork. It was an educational experience for me. I didn't know what had happened, but it's coming back, and it's good for erosion. It's also good for wildlife that travels up and down the river and has a place to get in there and hide a little bit. So, but we'll distinguish it from the actual bamboo, which isn't that good for wildlife in the riverbank. So
what is there is good though.
It's just a native cane, and it tends to be smaller. It's not going to get 20 to 30 feet tall like true bamboo. Usually,
but it'll get 15.
Yeah, it'll get 15. It'll get 15, but
it sure will.
Burns hot.
And it burns hot.
It burns hot.
Really. You talked a bit about we were talking about the difference between warm water and cold water. What species of fish live in either side? Let's talk about the cold water first.
Mainly when you're talking cold water, you're talking trout, you're talking sculpins, and there are some warm water species that have persisted in our system that you see. You know, when you get around the mouths of some of our bigger creeks, you'll get into smallmouth and largemouth and Ozark bass and some species like that. But typically, you're pretty well limited, you know, below the dams to trout. We do see a few walleye, depending if they open the floodgates.
I was just going to
on
ask
the
that.
lakes.
Does that have an effect on what species?
Yeah, you'll get walleye depending on the time of year and how long it's open. You can get walleye and stripers, hybrids, you know, down below North Fork. Of course, there's not as many stripers in Bull, so typically you tend to get walleye up there. We've seen some, you know, some catfish, but completely different from our warm water species. I mean, that varies across the state, but up here it's more of what you see. On Crooked Creek, you know, you've got your smallmouth and your little stone roller, or minnows as a lot of people, you know, call them, and then you've got just a host of species in warm water creeks that, you know, from things that are what we call species of greatest conservation need, you know, to the more common species. But you get a lot of, you know, sunfish, long-ear sunfish, especially in the Buffalo and Crooked Creek. Trying to think, you're stretching me here. Trying to think what else we have out there. You'll see you'll see gar in Crooked Creek.
Really?
Similar to what you see in the lake.
The Crooked Creek is warm water, or
it's warm water.
It's a warm water.
Yeah.
Is Crooked Creek floatable? I mean, can you fish in a canoe or
Crooked Creek's floatable. There's I think there's 4 major public accesses. See, we've got one at Pyatt, one at Snow. We've got what was George's Creek, we call the Oliver access now, and then we've got Fredberry, the conservation there at Kelly Slab. Of course, as low as things are right now, you want to check your water levels, because what's an easy float in the spring becomes a very long paddle this time of year if you don't have
walking drag.
Right. It becomes miserable pretty quick.
Rumors around and things people say about the Kings River. Does it truly flow north?
It does flow north. In fact, the White River flows north. The White River starts in the mountains south of Fayetteville and then runs north where it goes into Beaver Lake. And then, of course, it turns and comes across southern Missouri through Table Rock and Taneycomo before it enters Bull Shoals. So, yeah, they both run north, but the Kings definitely does too.
Where does the White River actually, the true beginning of the White River? Do you know that?
Do you know where the tunnel is? If you're heading from Fayetteville to Fort Smith?
Yeah.
That's the breakover for those two watersheds right there. So basically anything, you know, that falls on the north side of that range there at the tunnel flows, eventually ends up over here.
Wow. That's a long way.
It's a long way. It is.
And where does it end? Does it dump into the Mississippi somewhere?
It dumps into the Mississippi.
Where at?
Oh, let's see, down around, it's actually called Arkansas City. The Arkansas and White flow in pretty much at the same spot. In fact, the White may actually go into the Arkansas just before the confluence with the Mississippi. But there's been a lot of work done down there for the navigation system where they've connected things. So.
Is there a phone number that they can reach you if they have questions?
Yeah, my cell phone number is 870-404-6369. Our office number is 877-425-7577.
Where's your office located?
We're now at 650 South Street, which is the old Bank of America building.
Okay. Yep. Back over by the court complex.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, Tim, we sure appreciate you taking the time to join us this morning, and look forward to next month's visit with whoever you decide to get over here.
I enjoy it.
It's a good time. It's a good educational moment for folks that, like I say, a lot of people moving in here, but a lot of people that live here don't know some of those answers, and it's always good to educate folks.
We're always happy to help people however we can.
Good deal. We appreciate your time. You've been watching The Morning Show on XL7-TV. We will be back tomorrow.